It was one of the biggest challenges ever to build this team. I mean, guys, this was one of the biggest challenges ever. So many teams have difficult fixtures, and it was very, very hard to choose okay selection for game week 13. A lot of teams are playing away, and the smaller teams are at home, and they are not against the toughest oppositions ever. So, yeah, it was quite difficult to decide who to pick. Spurs and Villa face each other, Newcastle and Chelsea, and City and Liverpool. So those are six pretty good sides that are facing each other. So I don't consider most of their players to have an easy fixture to say. So it was very, very hard to decide. But all in all, I decided to put in the Crystal Palace goalkeeper in goal. I know that he conceded 3 goals against Everton, and this wasn't good. But this type of games happen. Everton are on a rise, I have to admit. They are way tougher than I expected for the last couple of game weeks. After the game week when they faced off Liverpool, they are a different team. They've won 2 games, so this is very, very good for them. And Johnston conceded 3 goals from them. I mean, yeah, I believe it was luck. And against Wootton, Johnston will once again return to the clean sheet potential he has, because Wootton away from home, even though it's at the Wootton's ground, I believe Crystal Palace are winning that comfortably. There were another plethora of goalkeepers viable at this position, such as Ariola, but I believe that Johnston is just better because I have a defender from West Ham in my defense, and I don't want to double up on any of the sides. Maybe you can go for Ariola and Mitchell in defense, but I've opted for Johnston as I feel him as more of a reliable pick, and I don't think that Crystal Palace are scoring as many goals as West Ham, so I opted for an attacking wing back from West Ham, but we will cover that in a minute. For now, Johnston in goal. If you want a backup goalkeeper, it's going to be Areola, but for me, you don't need it. Johnston, Wooten away, perfectly fine option for you for game week 13. As usual, don't forget to stay tuned up until the end because I've prepared a differential draft where some of the players here feature once again in a differential, but I've prepared a plethora of players that can boost your rank massively. Now let's focus on the defense. As I already mentioned, it was pretty tough to choose some defenders to go into the site, and they supposed to be good, but I think that I found the 3 best ones, let's say. Estupinian, I believe it's time for him to return after the international break. He will have 2 weeks off so he can relax. He's not going away on international duty, so he will be fit. And with the problems that they face off Brighton in the wing backs department, especially Milner, Lamptey is injured, Solly March is out, I believe that Estupinian will be required to join the site as fast as possible. So that means Nottingham Forest away is a good fixture for him to start building up some fitness and racking up some assist and bonus points once again, as he was doing that in the start of the season. Saliba against Brentford away. I know Brentford away is not the easiest fixture, but I believe that Arsenal, especially away at home, are so solid defensively, and Saliba already scored a goal in game week 12, so I expect a very high return in game week 13 as well from him. As already mentioned, Brentford is not the easiest fixture to go for, but I don't rely on any of the other defenses. Maybe a Manchester United defender, but I'm just not a fan of it. It's the second clean sheet in a row, but Everton are in a on a rise, sorry. So yeah, I believe that United will concede a goal. Maybe United will win that game, and investing in United defense for the 3 fixtures, 2 that were passed and now the third one was a good option, but I didn't do it. I think most of the players didn't do it, but Saliba is a very, very popular option, and I believe that he's going to get a lot of points. And the final guy here is Sufao, who is having Burnley away from home. I know that I mentioned that you can go for Ariola in goal and maybe Mitchell or Anderson in defense for instead of Sufal, but in my opinion, Sufal away from home, he's playing on the same side as Bowen, and I believe they are going to destroy the Burnley defense. Burnley conceded 3 goals against Arsenal, and I believe that they are going to concede around the same number against West Ham. So preparing West Ham attacking defender that can attack the weakest defense in the league, basically. Maybe compared to Sheffield's, I believe that Sufao is a very, very good option. I may even consider bringing him for my site as well, but we'll talk about my site in future videos. For now, I am preparing Johnston, Estupiñán, Saliba, and Sufao to make up the defense for the Game Week 13 best team. And I hope that if you want to bring some of those, maybe Sufao is a very good option going forward, not only for Game Week 13. The three of them basically are very solid options going forward, so you can even invest in them and consider them great transfer potentials for your real teams and not only for the Game Week 13 best team. To say. In midfield, there is a wide selection of players. I've opted for 5 players from 5 different sides. You can see here that there isn't anyone from Newcastle, from Liverpool, from City, from Chelsea, from Spurs, or even from Villa. That's why that is because I don't enjoy when those teams face each other, and maybe one of the sides is better than the other, but I don't think that it's a easy fixture to say. Compared to Bowen away to Burnley, Eze away to Luton, Saka away to Brentford, Mitoma away to Nottingham Forest, and Bruno away to Everton, I believe that those 5 away fixtures opt for the most points hidden to say, especially Bowen. He enjoys playing away from home. He has scored basically in any game away from home so far this season, so he can do it once again against Burnley. I believe that Burnley will concede a lot of goals and Bowen will be involved for sure. Eze is back into the side. The other great news is that Ulize is back into the side as well. So after the break, both of them can just tear up the Luton defense. Eze is on penalties, which is good enough. He received a yellow card for a simulation, but it's not an issue in my opinion, and I believe that Eze is a great option, especially Luton away, and for 1 week off you can just invest in Eze. Saka, I know that he had some issues in the past with injuries and with muscle problems, but he was back against Burnley and he played over 70 minutes and he even assisted the first goal from Trossard, so I believe that he is a very good option, and after the international break, if he is fit, he will continue being part of the side because Martinelli is injured, Jesus is injured, maybe Nketiah will be still out, we have to see, but for now, Saka against Brentford, I I believe that he is even a contention for a captain's armband. Mitoma against Nottingham Forest. I know it's another away fixture. I know that here basically everyone from my side is playing away, but it's just such a week that the better players are playing away and the better teams. So investing in Mitoma is an okay thing. I believe that with a lot of injuries to the Brighton side, the balance there is a little bit unstable, but Mitoma is such a great player that he can score basically in any situation. So I believe that away goes to Nottingham Forest are coming. And the last guy here is Bruno Fernandes. I believe that if United are to win that game away to Everton, Bruno will be involved. I know that he didn't do anything basically against Luton at home, and Luton at home was supposed to be a far easier fixture. But I believe Everton away, such as Fulham away, the in game week 11 was a very difficult fixture for United, and the guy that saved the game was Bruno. So I believe against Everton, he will be the guy to save the game once again. So yeah, Højlund is injured. We have to see what is the range of the injury span, but we have a lot of times up until the game week 13. Deadline. So for now, Bruno is here in the side for sure because he's playing away to Everton. He's their captain. He's on penalties. If they receive finally a penalty, most probably he will take it. So I will take all of the points. If you happen to enjoy such type of content and my content in general, don't forget to support the channel. Write down a comment, like the video, subscribe to the channel. All of your help is very much appreciated. But now let's wrap the team with the forwards. I believe you will be very surprised who is in my forward line. In attack, I have one of the cheapest forwards in the game right now, and Haaland. I believe that Haaland is a great option once again, just because he's Haaland, and against Liverpool he hasn't performed very well in the past, and he will be motivated to perform. It's a home fixture for City, and at Etihad they're a different breed and a force to be reckoned at. Maybe Liverpool will score a couple of goals, but for sure City will score, and I believe that Haaland will be involved, and he is a very good option to go against Liverpool. Liverpool are a little bit shaky in defense. Maybe they will be pretty solid against City, and they won't control the game as much as they are controlling it against the weaker oppositions, and they won't be suffering the counterattacks because City will be the team controlling the ball. But I believe even with the Liverpool's defense, Haaland can score against them. So I am opting for Haaland, and I didn't want to go without a City player, especially at home. It's such a good fixture for them to be not the fixture, but the stadium and everything at home. They're just a different breed. And Solanke, he's having Sheffield United away from home. He scored 2 goals against Newcastle. He could have scored more. And I believe that he was the guy for game week 12 to be owning right now. And in game week 13, an away fixture to Sheffield is a very, very good option for Bournemouth to rack up some more points because they need it, and they need it for sure because they want to stay in the Prem. Their manager is good, their site is okay, and I believe Solanke being their talisman is a very, very great option. I know I could have went with maybe Ferguson, maybe Eduard from Crystal Palace, but I believe two penalty takers, two talismanic players up front, such as Solanke and Haaland, are way better to go for, and I believe that is the strongest forward line that you can go in game week 13 right now. I've prepared the differential draft. Stay tuned, it's coming right just after that section. Once again, if you're enjoying the content, show your support, and now let's jump into the differential team. Here is the promised differential 11. Some of the players here are already in the best team for game week 13, but this is pretty regular for my differential side. I'm tempted to pick differential players in the best team, but I'm opting for the strongest player there. Here I'm picking some differential players that can just spice up your squad. Maybe if you don't have the money to go for the more expensive parts of the best team, you can go for someone here. In goes Johnston. I believe that I've already said enough for him. He's the best goalkeeper in my opinion for game week 13. He's under 6% ownership. So if he get a clean sheet, you feel it for sure. Last week in game week 11, personally in my squad, I got 9 points and he was the player that saved my game week basically. So it's good to have such a great goalkeeper in your side. So far, once again, 3.4% owned. I believe that's such a good player, and with so many assists already under his name, he's going to be a pretty good force to be reckoned, especially in game week 13, where a lot of teams are having tougher fixtures, and you can even replace your match cash with Sufao, and you'll feel pretty comfortable doing that. Zinchenko is the player that I've opted for from the Arsenal's defense. I'm replacing Saliba with him because Saliba is just way more owned, and the rules here are that the players must be under 10% ownership. So Zinchenko fits that bill perfectly. He can get the clean sheet against Brentford. He can do some damage like he did against Burnley, so he's perfectly fine as a player. Veltman, with so many injuries with the Brighton's defense, I believe that he's going to be nailed, and 1% ownership. If he gets a clean sheet, your rank will skyrocket for sure. And Koeman against Fulham, he is the newest part here. Basically, I've opted for players from that I've picked for the best side. But Koeman against Fulham are not great going offensively. Muniz is facing a little bit of a Nico or something like that, and he's not nailed to start. Jimenez is not in form, and I believe that Koeman can keep a clean sheet and build on that achievement that they beat up Spurs. So yeah, Koeman under 1% ownership, great player to invest in. If you're looking for a cheap and differential defender to own, Trossard under 2% ownership with Martinelli's injury, Jesus not being back into the squad, and Nketiah out of the squad as well. I believe Trossard will be starting in game week 13. He scored a goal, assisted a goal, so he's in an okay form, and I believe that he can get you a lot of points for game week 13. Eze, I've already stated my facts there. He's on penalties, he's doing fine. So yeah, I'm opting for Eze here as well in the differential 11. Adingra is the guy that is replacing Mituma. If you're looking for a cheap and starting Brighton player, Adingra is your guy. James Ward-Prowse, I was surprised to see that he dropped under 10%, but he had blanked for several weeks. West Ham were just not up to par in the last couple of game weeks, but I believe after game week 11 and most possibly 12 because I'm recording before their game week 12 fixture. I believe in 13 he can do a lot of damage against. I believe they were playing against Burnley. Yeah. So yeah, Ward Prowse there, pretty good option and under 10% on no set pieces, most probably apart from penalties. but regardless, he can do a great delivery, and under 10% is going to be great. So 1K I've already mentioned in my best team, 2 goals against Newcastle at home. I believe a lot of goals are coming against Sheffield, so I'm opting for him in the differential 11 here as well. 3% ownership, pretty good percent to be owned. And Ferguson is the last guy here. He's having a okay fixture. He's going to be starting, at least in my opinion, under 10%. So if he does the damage, he will destroy the Nottingham Forest side. And he can do a lot of things. Maybe he will take a penalty if there is. Maybe Gross will. We don't know for sure. Maybe Gross is going to take it. Don't take that into consideration. But being a striker for a Brighton side, they need the points, and I believe Ferguson is going to get them a lot of goals in the next couple of fixtures. I believe this is a pretty strong differential 11. If you have any other differential players, state it right down in the comment section. If you enjoy the content as already explained, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I need your help to reach 600 subscribers before the end of the year. It will be very much appreciated if I reach that goal. But for now, guys, I'll be heading out. Bye.